hopefully we keep power, right? Because it went out a couple of times. Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll to establish quorum, please?
Sawyer. Jernerbro. Here. Mr. Kelly.
Present.
Mr. Pope.
Here.
Ms. Palestrini. Here. Mr. Robinson.
Here.
Present.
Fantastic. All right, please stand if you're able for the pledge of allegiance. And pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, even the soul, with liberty and justice.
All right. Ms. Lyons, how are you tonight?
Thank you.
Has anyone signed up to speak this
No
evening?
one has signed up.
No one has signed up. Yes. All right. The meeting minutes from May 1st, 2025 are in front of you at this time. Please review them. For any additions, deletions, and or corrections.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like just to get a little bit more detail in a couple of these things, because we raised a tax, established a tax, and there's absolutely nothing in there describing it. Yet we talk about the filials and all kinds of stuff that happens in committees, but not about the actual passage of the tax or establishment. So I want to know if we can just add a little bit, even if it's much discussion ensued with questions asked, and move on. But otherwise, it just looks like, yep, there's a tax, done.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of confused because I believe you were the one that led the charge that they were too descriptive.
Oh, no. Oh,
And-
no.
And now we're trying to back that off.
No. I'd just like to be able, not everybody is going to look at the video. And so when they go through the minutes, it's a matter of, they just kind of go through, they can get all the details about the presentations and who was here. And the descriptions of the facade grant and all the details of the buildings.
Okay.
But then when you get to page 6,
Okay.
E, motion to approve an ordinance approving a percent tax to replace the grocery tax. And it's just like we didn't care and didn't discuss it at all, and we just passed it. And then the same thing was with the garbage collection fees. We talked about that too, and it was made very clear in there that that the board worked hard on this to make sure that it was the best deal possible, and this is part of a contract. And then also then that we really made it clear that the amount that they would be paying today is less than the amount they would have been paying 4 years ago.
And we,
I think that's important.
I don't know how we include that the meeting is recorded for viewing for more detail. Is there a statement that can be added to the agenda that says see the video for further detail?
Mr. Chair, can I?
Sure.
You could add a statement at the bottom that says, see the video for further detail.
The minutes?
Yeah.
You could, I think that's perfectly appropriate.
And these are in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Well, we have to.
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
report
yeah,
it.
Okay. Then, honestly, yeah, that's great that we can do that. But then if we're going to turn around and not say anything about the establishment of the tax, then we really shouldn't have anything about rewards given or the 7 filials that will be replicated and installed.
I appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments or concerns about the meeting minutes? Moving forward, can you put on the bottom of the agenda that we come up with some crafty linguistic phrase?
I'll be happy to be crafty, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. It's just,
And it's not with everything, Mr. Mayor. It's
I understand.
when a tax is coming out, I think the people deserve transparency.
We've worked really hard with the meeting minutes because of different conversations at this board level, because before they were far too detailed and now they're not detailed enough. And so I think we need to find some middle ground. So
I think adding the statement at the end of the minutes would appease everyone.
I appreciate that. All right. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
We have 1 nay. All right, fantastic. Next, we have a couple of appointments tonight. Dr. David Scarpino has served on our police pension board for some time. He expressed interest in serving again. He's been a loyal servant of the village. He was on school board for a long time, that kind of thing. Does anyone have any questions about reappointing Mr. David or Dr. David Scarpino to the police pension board?
Is there any issue with him no longer living in the village?
There is no residency requirement for the police pension board.
Okay. Excellent.
Thing is, when we have past commissioners that are non-residents.
Yes, we have. We have.
Currently.
Right.
We currently.
So, but there's no residency requirement, and he's loyal despite his lapse in judgment and moving to Pingree. For the record.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put that in the minutes so we can read that for fun. Anyway, does anyone have any questions about the appointment? I will entertain a motion to appoint Dr. David Scarpino to the Police Pension Board for a term of 2 years.
So move. Second.
Questions, comments? It is an appointment. I will ask for a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Jernerbro,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Coe,
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini,
Yeah, aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Scott McBride has served on our Planning and Zoning Commission. I believe he was on planning originally. I think he was I think that he was one of the original plan commissioner members before we combined everything years ago. I'm sorry, it all runs together, but he's been on the Planning and Zoning Commission for some time. He's a fire inspector, I believe. He was for Roselle for a long period of time, and he serves part-time now for Hampshire and Burlington. He does great work, and in speaking with Chairwoman Klein, she believes that he would be a good fit and to continue serving. So I would entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Scott McBride to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 5-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Coe,
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor,
Aye.
Mrs. Jernerbro. Aye. Passes 6-0.
Do you want me to take this?
I'll take it if you don't mind.
Um,
This time we would ask your indulgence for a presentation of a concept plan for the Gifford property plan development. You may recall that you saw the same property last summer sometime. In fact, Rich Olson, who's with us tonight, he's the landscape architect, has done this plan. You saw that plan. This is just a presentation, an informal presentation. We're not going to ask you for any action tonight. But this is a different plan from the one you saw before, so you'll see comparisons. And what they try to do is address the concerns that you all had when you gave Lennar kind of a thumbs down. This is not the kind of development we're looking for. I think they've really done some nice things with this. You see larger lots, and I'll let them go into it. So Richard M. Gerard is the attorney representing the principal, and he will start the introduction.
All right. Good evening, President. Please,
Good evening.
thank you. And thanks for giving us your time to do this. We'll try to be brief. And what I propose to do is I'll give a brief introduction of the owner and company, that you're dealing with, introduce the people that are here, and Rich Olson. Well, why don't I do some while I explain who they are? Rich Olson is our planner, and he's going to give a brief presentation. He has a few slides explaining the content of the property and the plan and what we intend to do. Matt Vondra, who's one of the principals of the owner, is here too, and he and I will try to answer the questions that you may have about the property or what we plan to do. The owner of the property is Southwind Industries, one of its facilities. It's basically its main business is their various construction businesses that it has and does, and everything from quarries, and it has reclamation of soil company and environmental. It has recycling company. It's done development of, it's done commercial development and projects and business parks, but it has multiple businesses. But two of the things that you'd be familiar with that they do, one is they own approximately 2,000 acres of farmland in King County that they farm. And also one of their other businesses of why I'm here tonight is for the last 30 years, there are various companies, they have developed more than 30 subdivisions, residential subdivisions, mostly in King County. And they've done everything from build the homes to build finished lots and develop the lots through their construction businesses and subcontractors. And they we built homes, we've sold lots to public builders, we've sold developed lots to private builders. So we've been doing it a long time in King County. And with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions. So I'd like to let Rich Olson step up here and give you a discussion.
Good evening. My name is Rich Olson with the Area Web Resources. We're landscape architects, planners out of Wheaton, Illinois. And we prepared this current concept plan as well as the previous plan that was before you. And I'll talk a little bit about both. But we're super excited about this plan. And first of all, I just obviously want to thank you for your time and consideration. Hopefully we get some good feedback as we did last time, and that'll help us move through the process. What I usually do is, what I thought I would do is walk through kind of some existing conditions and planning factors that help us prepare the plan, walk you through the plan, talk a little bit about some of the things that we learned from the last meeting that we've changed from this meeting. And then hopefully answer any questions that you may have. Next slide. So this one just gives you, an idea of where it's at in the world. Of course, it's just south of Oak Mill Drive. It's west of or east of Getzelman. You can kind of see from this map here, you've got a trend of residential coming from the north. I highlighted some of the commercial area, and that plays a factor in what we've done in the Chamber plan. Along Oak Mill, we've got a little bit of commercial that's starting to take hold there, and that makes some sense along that road. And of course, you've got the forest preserve, the south west area there. This particular site is surrounded mostly by farmland. To the north, you get residential, but you got farmland. And of course, it currently is undeveloped farmland as well. And one big thing that comes through here is, of course, the Hampshire Creek that bisects the site, as you know. Go to the next slide. So this is part of some of the planning factors. And I always like to put this one up because we take into account, of course, a lot of different things. Topography is one of them. The pretty colors up there that you see really give you an indication of some of the topography on the site. If you go out there, the red is the higher point of the site, and the lower green areas are the lower portions of the site. And you can also see from that map kind of where the site drains and where it's going. So it kind of gives you a nice indication of what's going on. So it's got some topography to it. It's got character. It's not flat. It has some rolling topography that we can take advantage of, which is also nice for residential communities from that standpoint. On the right-hand side there, you see this your existing zoning. And so you've got zoning that comes from the north and from the west, and that's primarily a mix of your residential zoning. And this is currently King County zoning. Particular site. Some of the other things that we've taken into account, other than the topography, is we've taken into account access, taken into account natural features of the site, trees. This site has very little trees on it. There's very little wetlands on the sites. You do have the feature that runs through the site, which is the creek. So we have to cross the creek to get to the southern portion of the site, and that's a big planning factor. How we get across the creek and how we work with that to access all that land to the south from that standpoint. So there is good access from it, and of course, access leaving the site from the southern end. That's you got nice farmland to the south and to the undeveloped areas that can be developed. So we'll of course be looking to put some future access points to future development as the trend of development goes from north to south. You can go to the next slide. So this is the current concept plan that we're looking at. Of course, we're looking at a mixed residential community. We're doing a mix of single family and townhomes. We also are looking at a small commercial site at the entrance of the site, which is one distinct feature that was not on the last plan. That was expressed as something to take a look at how we can incorporate that. I think we can. I think the right depth commercial character would be similar to what you have on the north side of Oak Knoll as you go up and down the street there. Not too deep, but something that's useful. It could work some nice commercial. And then we can also get two accesses off of Oak Knoll, as you see on the concept plan. And that really starts to to get into the product types that we have there, the darker yellow is really our larger single family home, which is 80-foot lots. The lighter yellow is our 70-foot lots. And then the smaller buildings are, of course, of our townhomes. So right up front, the idea is that you have two main entrances that would lead into all the product types. So you, of course, would have access to that, and the builder would be able to start selling all 3 stores right away for all the different types of people that would be developing those. And we do show a nice access, and there's also on the north side, there's also parks, which also serves as our beginning to our trailhead, to our trail system that winds all the way through the sites, which is a different design that we had before. This one really takes advantage of connectivity of the people to be able to go all the way from north to south. So that first park is a really nice entrance park. Then you cross the creek, and then as you come down from the south, you have the 3 product types again, which continue through the sites. And that trail system winds around the back of the dark yellow lots and then terminate right into that central area there that's got a detention pond, and that would be a really nice central park feature. So it's really nicely located. You have a park in the north, and you got a central park there. And that it's kind of hard to read from your maps, but that trail system leads through that green space corridor and continues all the way to the far eastern portion of the site where we do have another park space. So the multi-use trail system now seamlessly links all the parks and all the amenities to the site, and really creates a really nice, interesting effect because you don't really interact with too many systems. So I think that would be a real nice amenity to the site. Just from a standpoint of the specifics, we're proposing 377 units, which is a mix of 70-foot, 80-foot, and townhomes over the sites, about 157 acres. And we got about 32% open space. One of the things that we took to heart the last time we met was specifically 2 items. One was lot size. It was clear that the lot size on the old plan was not going to be acceptable anymore for this community. So we went back and said, we're going to get rid of the small lot size completely, not even try and downsize it, it's gone. They had 65-foot lots, I believe. I think there was even some 50s at some point that we were looking at. All gone. So we have a mix of 70 and 80-foot wide lots. All of those lots are 87, almost 9,000 square, basically 9,000 square feet, which is really nice. So you really have a much larger lot size mix, and you have a lot more open space, a lot more connectivity, and of course the additional commercial space up front. So some of the other feedback was the plan was nice, like the plan last time, but it just didn't have some of the components that you wanted to see. And I think we're really happy with this plan because it not only accomplished some of the things that you guys were very specific about. It was clear we weren't going anywhere. That was it was that keep fighting it, or we could go back and make a better plan. And I think we've made a better plan, and not only having those 2 components, but really enhancing the open space experience, which I think is important. So this plan is not only less a larger lot sizes, it's of course less dense too, a lot less units from that standpoint. We're really happy to see that. And then you can go on to the next slide. I've incorporated a couple slides of some basic architecture. Since we don't actually have a builder, we definitely have people that would be in mind. And this is the traditional front-loaded townhome product that you see pretty much throughout the different home builders that would be developing here, with the different types of. This particular one is off of the Lennar product type mix. You're very familiar with that company. Nice quality product. They allowed us to use that as to give you an idea of the kind of the architecture. You go to the next slide. And then the single family, which I think because of the larger lot size, and we definitely have a really nice, you're going to get a really nice mix of architecture. And this is, again, the Lennar Builders home product mix, which they allowed us to use for the mix. And they offer some really nice different, this would be basically what we're seeing here is this is the quality, the type quality that you would be expecting. We wouldn't be bringing in something of lesser. It's quality or better. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Rich just to kind of close it out. But we're happy to be here and hopefully we get some good comment. Thank you.
Just before you go,
Sure.
how many houses was it before? Because it's
It's
been
like
reduced.
400. It was like 400,
Okay,
even higher. We had
This
several-
plan has 37 less units than the
Okay.
previous plan.
okay.
And there were different plans that were mixed, but it's about 400 units.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just briefly, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out, not plan, and maybe some of the differences. One of the things we've done is the townhomes are traditional townhomes with a front entrance, which permits backyards, basically, patios and so forth, but not the courtyard type that are face to face. So they're less dense but they're townhomes that we built before and familiar with and like, so we've gone with that type of thing. And the other thing we did, we moved the previous plan, the townhomes were right up in front of the property. And I think there was some concern about, they didn't want to just see a wall of townhomes. And now those have been moved to the far south portion of the project. We do have multiple properties or products, to help with velocity, to help sales and move ahead, especially in this market. The lot sizes, I wanted to mention that, as Rich has said, there are two single family lot sizes. The 75 by 125 or the 8,750. Under your R3 residential ordinance, the minimum lot size would be 7,500. The lot width is 80 feet. So we're asking for a different configuration, 70 by 125, but it's not to get additional density. We've actually reduced the density and the lot size is actually higher than the 7,500 square feet. Plus we've added 79, 80 foot wide by 125 foot, which are 10,000 minimum square foot lots. So it really has to do with the efficiency of the infrastructure. I mean, it's really smart growth to be able to, the streets, the sidewalks, the curb, the storm sewer, the sanitary sewer, the street lights, so all of it is based on the frontage foot. So it makes sense, just as efficiency and planning, to have them deeper. And now we get backyards that are deeper and more usable backyards for people. They have for their patios, the decks and so forth that they want to have. The home sizes are just as large. They're not any smaller than the home sizes on the other. Lots actually a little bit bigger. And it costs less to get more. So it makes sense to design a project that way, with meaning narrower, as long as we haven't made the lots smaller. And then we've made them bigger. So I just wanted to make that clear. That's really what that has to do with. And then it gives us the ability to have a product at the 70 feet to 125 and then another product at the 80 to 125. So having said that, it's too late to make it a short story, but I expressed it, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. As Richard said, we're excited to be here. We've done it before. We really like the area. We're very familiar with the area because many and most of their businesses, I said, we probably developed 25 projects in King County and almost every town up and down the river. And their businesses are mostly in King County. Much of them are in King County. So happy to be here. Can you answer any questions?
Are you
Please.
guys set up for, I think the last builder came in, comment told them that all of the cans, all the electric, everything, cable, it's all gonna be in the front yards, no longer in the back.
It is. I mean, yes, yeah,
Okay.
we're done fighting that. We developed, we actually put in the improvements and just finished a couple subdivisions in South Elgin, and that's what we had to do. We had to put them in the front yards, and people are adjusting. And Rich is used to planning it now that way because that's just the way it is.
Thank you.
I have two quick questions. Can you repeat for me? I think you both said how many total lots there are now, or
Yeah.
homes, whether it's townhomes or.
Absolutely. Yeah. And on that handout that you got, if you
Yes.
flip it over to the page, you'll see a little breakdown where it's got of the single family
Oh.
70s, it's
Yeah.
154, single family 80s feet wide and 79. And the townhomes are 144.
Believe it or not, that's exactly where I've been writing all my notes.
Did not say this was too close.
Trying to hide the density of all those things.
Okay, my second question was, if you could go back to the third slide? No. This one is just fine. Can you trace for me up there where the path or the trail is? Because
Yeah.
the colors.
Yeah, I kind of wordsmithed through it, but it was hard to.
But I need to see it there.
Okay, so this is the beginning park off of the main entrance. Can you see? And then the trail will come down the roadway here and run along the backs of the roads and then access this central park right here. So this is the secondary park, and then it will follow along the backs of the roads here and all the way through this green space corridor in here and end up with a sort of a terminating end park at this particular space. So you can walk through here and you have 1, 2, 3 roads that you have to access for probably I'd have to get a linear distance, but that's quite a bit of distance to be able to be out and enjoying the area without interacting with cars, so to speak. So yeah, so we're and the last plan, not that was a bad plan. You guys generally liked it. This one enhanced that because we didn't have that connectivity all the way down here. If you ever have a chance to pull that out, we still had a park up here and a sort of a central park, but we weren't able to connect it all the way through because of the road patterns. So we reconfigured this and really made it happen.
Okay, does anyone have any other additional questions, comments?
Just a couple real quick. I don't know who to address them to, so whoever wants to answer, feel free. In this plan, there are 2, 4, 6, 8 detention ponds. Everybody knows I love SSAs. There's going to be backup SSAs for in here because I'm assuming the homeowners association is going to be responsible for taking care of it. But that's a lot of detention that doesn't currently exist in that area. How do you see that affecting downstream Hampshire Creek and upstream Hampshire Creek?
Well, I'm not a civil engineer, but I can give you my understanding that the way modern detention basins work is right now you have undetained water that, I'll probably answer your question as quickly as possible. You have undetained water that hits the farmland and then runs off. Undetained and it goes into the creek and then it goes wherever it goes. In the modern subdivision detention basins, they're filtered through a naturalized detention basin, which is natural plankton, slows the water down, and then it releases it at a very slow rate off the site and into the creek and then downstream. So it's going to be the same amount. And there's going to be some it might be less because there's going to be some evapotranspiration, there's going to be some infiltration, but needs to say it's going to be slower rate release downstream and held in the ponds.
Rich, is it safe to assume that there's not more detention or retention than is required?
That is correct. The last thing a developer wants to do is build more than they have to on the detention basin. And this is, you see this, these configured like this just because the topography of the site where it's at. It's a sophisticated site. It has a lot of water areas that it wants to go to. So instead of putting one giant pond somewhere, there's really a bunch of smaller ponds that filter. Plus, that also, at the plus side of that, it creates a lot more premium lots for everybody, so that you have lots that back up to these open spaces now instead of not crunched together in one. So it actually creates in the end, it creates a really nice effect.
Okay.
One other thing I'd mention is that the village itself, and then through those King County with King County stormwater regulations, they're very sophisticated and strict, and any project that's designed has to go through the stormwater study that the village's own experts will review in addition to the counties. And this isn't engineered yet, so it'll all be approved through all the stormwater engineering and so forth.
Well, and I asked because we've had to do some work because of downstream flooding. And so I just want to make sure that when this is coming in, I would imagine it would slow it down and actually help. But also not pushing it back up the stream into the farm, into the floodland that is kind of off your map.
Yeah, it definitely helps the situation out if there's during that peak storm event.
Right.
Instead of just dumping it into the creek right away and letting it go. There's a up to 500-year storage capacity. There's overflow after that.
Right.
But in order to get to that, we're all in deep trouble.
Okay. Just because this came up in the BDC meeting for some discussion, not about this project, we had no idea what the presentation was going to be. In other, and I appreciate you have commercial along 72. That's something we're talking about, is that 72 corridor being more commercial focused. There is still some single family homes next to it, but that's neither here nor there. On the commercial and other developments, so I guess it's a two-part. One, have you had other developments that are mixed residential and commercial? And two, in those developments, have you agreed to develop the commercial within a certain amount of years from the residential being developed?
Typically, that's not the case. The commercial development the short answer is yes, we have.
Okay.
And typically the commercial sits there until the right time. And since there's people coming in here, people that come in here, the more that attracts. So there's potentially an opportunity that somebody would see that, hey, maybe I ought to put something here. But the time frame is really never because you can't make somebody develop something that they don't know what they're gonna.
Yeah, I guess my concern is, just for staff to know, is we've got for years almost commercial along 72 that just hasn't developed for one reason or another. Good reasons, but one reason or another. And I would hate to see just vacant, undeveloped land in front of houses sit because we have another commercial property that doesn't get developed. I'm not saying that's what would happen. I appreciate you've carved it out, but I think during a development agreement, that would be something that we hopefully be able to talk about.
As a practical matter, part of what happens is, that's likely to be, and you've got some other projects that recently developed in the county of Haskell, in the village of Haskell, in the way that there's a center that this will kind of develop neighborhood uses and so forth. That's it's 4.2 acres. So it's significant, but it's not going to be big box stores. Obviously, it's going to be, the neighborhood uses, and it really needs the rooftops from these residential to support it. One of the problems, if we put an arbitrary date on this and say it has to be developed within a blank date, if you built it, if the market isn't there yet, all you're building is a failed project. You'll have commercial buildings empty and no market because you have to have the users and you have to have the people. So I appreciate what you're saying. You don't like to have an empty piece of property sitting.
Well, we have that right now.
Yeah,
And we'd hate to have more of that, is what I'm
But
saying.
I'm just saying, if you build something that the market isn't there yet for, you're just creating a failed property sitting there, and that, you don't want that either. So that's something we can talk about. We're not making a decision today. This is a concept. I understand what you're saying, and I understand.
Across the street from that, you have far more rooftops than the 377 that would be in this
Yeah.
project. So I don't know that 377 rooftops is a mitigating factor of whether or not a business would move.
Believe it or not, side of the road matters. And if you just think about this, I understand, there's a lot.
We can also talk about traffic.
Right, you're-
72
yeah.
and
One of the
density.
things that you'll find is these people, as they're coming out, if there's a convenience store with coffee or something along those lines, they're gonna dip right in there. So as opposed to going across the road to some other spot. So the proximity.
And just as, listen, we want to develop that property as soon as we can. We do want to develop and have it be used.
Richard, let me say one thing. Richard.
Yeah, let's.
As trustee Kelly said, the demand is here. We have the rooftops. Building 150 houses a year now. So I understand what you're saying on that side of the road, but we have people who want to come here, but we don't have space for them. And in shopping centers, like you said, we can't get a 40,000 square foot building built because it's too expensive and the rent's too high. And multi-tenant buildings, they've got people signed up for leases, but we can't get them to get started. So if there was a spec building up there, I think would fill up within 6 months. That's the kind of thing we just like you to consider.
That's exactly what.
Developers would get a spec building and then we
When
would.
the infrastructure goes in, this is right in the front, all the infrastructure is going to be there. So we're going to be putting in all the sewer and water and the grading and.
And that's pretty much all along 72. It's already, in fact, there's already a sign up. It's been up there for 5 years showing a shopping center right across the
Coming
street.
soon.
Right.
So we want to see the shopping center this time before we see the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
Yes.
All right, well, something for us to talk about.
I don't have the old plan, so I apologize. How many townhomes were in the old plan? roughly.
Probably about half over.
And that's what my concern is a little bit, is not that we have townhomes. You need mixed usage. I totally get it. But you have 38% of your rooftops on 12% of the land. And so while I understand we've got the 80-foot and the 70-foot,
Mhm.
we have double the 70-foot than 80-foot, which is great. We don't have the 40-foot or what other developers have come in with.
Right.
So I appreciate that you took that feedback, but then you increase the number of townhomes.
Yeah.
Just, it's a piece of feedback.
Yeah,
Just that-
I think that's a good.
I understand the
good
mixed
concept to
density
think
and you
about.
still, and I know there was a comment earlier that it was taken off the front. There are still townhomes at the very front of this property.
And yes,
Yeah,
and
there's
part
a-
of that
there's a line.
is
Right.
when we do a phase, we need to be able to do models. So there's some of each up here so that we can do models and market, the property.
Yeah.
So that's why those are there. But a comment about the other, the previous plan that was shown, I looked at it and one of these, it had a huge amount of duplexes, which are basically 2-unit townhomes. That's what really
Right.
the duplexes are. So we have less of that type of product. And that's why we have 37 less units than the previous plan had. And we have bigger lots. And part of it is, it's a different product. And
Yeah, the one.
it's not
Again,
a
I
lot.
was just providing feedback that
No, it's a
while I
good
appreciate
observation,
all of
for
the
sure.
changes on here and, I think the larger lot size, I think we have developments that have proven people will buy the larger lot size. I also know in some of the other developments, when we have a denser area and a larger denser area, when you look at the back property of the townhomes, there is a potential for these aren't basements, traffic issues and parking on streets and in the winter and stuff like that. So I'm just cognizant that is your percentage of site is land acreage percentage. When you do percentage of rooftops, there is a disparity there. And so that's just a comment and a piece of feedback. I'm not saying it makes the project not a desirable project, just providing that feedback that you said you were hoping to.
Well, and as we move through this, I think one of the things that we'll end up looking at is that the right amount of townhomes for the current builder too. So we're still in concept form. I think having the townhomes, a little bit of the townhomes up front is vital because of the window of opportunity. Certainly a lot less than the other plan. And then exactly how much that ends up being, if a builder says, hey, that makes a lot, because they have to kind of weigh how many of it. They don't want too many, they don't want too small, so they want just right, for the selling.
Completely.
Because essentially what they do is they take into account how many they can sell a month.
Yeah.
On each product type, and then they run a performa, and if that performa doesn't work, it's less of the.
And sorry, last question is all of this, is your concept for all of this that it would be for sale or is any of this build to rent?
Definitely for sale.
Okay, so not the build to rent. model.
No,
It's just,
Okay, cool. That's all my questions.
does anybody else have any questions?
I have more.
Great. Go for
If
it.
you will indulge me, and I hope this isn't on the same page because I'll feel really dumb. Can you tell me approximately what does a 4-acre commercial property look like to me driving down the road? Like what kind of business,
right.
like size of business? Because I'm
So if I remember correctly, so you've got Rosati's Pizza right down the street from
Yep.
this, and there's a couple things just right next to it.
just right
Car
there.
wash.
Yeah, car wash.
Uh-huh.
So it could be something like that. It could be where they put in a series of buildings approximately 80 feet deep and it ends up being multiple tenants. So it can be single tenants, it can be multiple tenants, but that's the type of, and what Rich was saying is neighborhood commercial. So it's your coffee place, your nail, all the different convenience things that you want to get done quickly and then move on.
So the property across the street, where was that exist? Is that approximately 1 acre-ish? I'm just-
It's compared to like this one I was talking, I
Yes.
don't know for sure.
Is the Hampton Commons, what it was called?
I was gonna check the acreage.
Okay,
I think
because I'm
That,
trying to
it would
wrap my-
be similar to that type of
Comparable
thing.
to that, yeah,
Okay.
and the depth wise is specific because you have to have enough depth for that type of, retail or commercial, because you have to have an access behind and then parking up front. So this was designed for that.
Well, this makes sense. Is there any thought to continuing the bike path to that commercial? So that people who live at the back end of the neighborhood might not have to drive their cars all the way up and they could access those and.
We didn't, but we certainly, there is a pathway to that, either, to the right or to the left. Whether it's behind the townhomes or whether it's behind the single.
We will also be asking them to put a bike path along 72 to extend the bike path that already comes from the west. So that's required for anything on 72.
And that would make a connectivity.
Do a connection then to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that we could certainly look at.
Appreciate your.
So the Rosati's is just under 1 acre.
Okay.
That includes the car wash, the whole building, the parking lot around it from the street to the edge of the
I was
development.
just looking at Lakeville.
To add to that, this is where it's stated, stated 72, that's 5.5 acres, and that includes open space.
That's the one with Dairy Queen?
Yeah, there-
Just pay though, and the gas station.
correct.
So just the strip mall portion in the parking lot.
So you got an idea.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, that's all.
Okay,
It looks like it's almost like three of the Casey's by just looking at the purple and the second sheet.
Right.
It's about 3.5 Casey's.
If.
You know, and it helps us to kind of issue.
You can actually see the depth.
Fair point, that that garage shed this weekend is legal tender, so like, I mean, I figured we can measure in cases.
I don't know if you see, like, Americans refuse to.
I have a wheel, come get it tomorrow.
Metric
Yes.
system.
You can wheel it at your time, not mine.
No metric.
I want authorship.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, well, I appreciate you coming tonight. Thank you so much.
The only thing I would ask is, does the board encourage them to proceed further in their planning at this point?
I would.
I think it's
That's what you're
lovely.
looking for.
I think you've
This is when you run now.
addressed us. Yeah, we've addressed some of the things that we
Quiet,
did.
don't say another
Green
word.
space.
I know.
Yeah,
No,
you heard us.
I appreciate that we spoke pretty adamantly about larger lot sizes, and I appreciate that you've taken that and included that in here, so I appreciate it. So yes, I would encourage you to move forward.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Thank you.
There's always a problem. We can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next, we have committee appointments, but I need the attorney to tell me whether or not we actually need to do motions and appointments and stuff for village board committees. I don't think we have.
I would prefer that we do motions, and obviously it's your appointment, and pursuant to state law, these come in with the advice and consent of council. Meaning, not me, meaning the honorable people out there. So I would like that. The evidence, the advice and consent of these appointments.
Can I also ask a procedural question then? Anyone appointed, should they refrain from motioning or seconding or voting?
That is an excellent question, trustee. Mr. Chair, if I may provide.
You're already talking.
It's a common misconception, you can't vote for yourself for appointment, but you can vote for yourself for appointment. Even the mayor could if he was being appointed.
Which I clearly not.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Might have been before
It's out
that.
of the rules, yes. No.
So no,
Yes, you could
no
vote.
abstention.
You could vote. You don't need, you,
So do I need to take a vote?
yeah, you would say it's still affirmative.
So do I need to take votes on every one of these line items, or can I take one vote to approve the slate?
You have consent agenda, so you have to vote 4 times.
Are you okay with doing a consent agenda?
It's not on.
It's not.
But you can make a motion to consolidate items 8A through D. And then that passes, and then you vote on the consolidated.
At that point, we're only doing 2 less votes. Okay, so, I would like to entertain a motion to appoint trustees Eric Robinson and Toby Coates as members of the liquor commission.
So moved.
And Mr. Chairman, you can take a voice vote on this.
You good with that?
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion appointing trustee Aaron Kelly as chair of the budget committee and trustees Toby Coates and Laura Palestrini as members of said budget committee.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Great. Moving right along here, I'd like to entertain a motion appointing trustee Aaron Jarnborough as chair and members trustee Aaron Kelly and Heather Fodor of the Public Relations Committee.
So moved.
Recommend.
Questions, comments? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Finally, I'd like to appoint trustee Toby Coates as chair and have members Laura Palestrini and Eric Robinson as member of Public Works.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great. That one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was
Swimmingly.
very efficient. With that, we would ask your consideration of a resolution approving a professional services agreement with Engineering Enterprises, Inc. for the wastewater treatment facility National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. Permit renewal in the amount of $10,884. And since we have a guest with us, Steve Dennison, tonight, I'd like Steve to just take a minute and explain this, please.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
I can see.
Good evening. Yeah, so this is a permit that the wastewater plant is required to have. It's been required to have for many, many years in order to discharge its waters into Hampshire Creek. It is a process that is administered by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, but then administered locally here by the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. Every 5 years, this permit requires renewal, and there's a host of paperwork, which is always fun, to fill out forms that you have to detail all of the information, operating information from the wastewater plant, as far as how it's performing, things related to the biosolids that are land applied from the wastewater plant, just quite a few things in forms that have to be administered for it. So this project they would be hiring EEI to assist with filling out all the forms and coordinating with the IEPA in order to renew the NPDES permit. The current permit expires on March 31st, 2026. It is required to have the application for renewal submitted 6 months prior to that. So it's due on September 30th, 2025. And I will stop there and entertain any questions.
Does anyone have any questions about our discharge permit? I was going to say something about biosolids, but I couldn't tell.
Yes.
No.
Land alive.
No.
It is what it is.
I just have one, Mr. Dennison, for the 46 hours that of the prep and turning it in. Can you speak to that on your estimated schedule? Because you've got 4 months to do the 46 hours worth of work. I'm just curious why. Is it just because it's not due till September, or?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, we could wait and start to do this until a little bit later, till closer to the due date, but it's better to try to get it done ahead of time. And the hours that are listed in there are based on, we do these for many communities. And so we have a lot of experience with how long it takes in order to complete all the forms. And so it will likely, we'll tackle this as soon as we get the approval, gather all the information. That usually takes several weeks just to get all the information that we need. And then we'll go ahead and put all the forms together and applications for signature.
Yeah, so it's not that it takes till September, it's just that's when it has to be turned in.
That's exactly right.
Okay, thanks. I'll entertain a motion approving the professional service agreement with EEI.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just one, the amount, I had to search for it to find it because it wasn't in the
Apologies.
memo or
I
the-
recognize that as I was looking at it this evening, that I should have put it in the cover memo. Sorry about that.
And it should, I mean, I think it should be in the resolution too, because it's not in the resolution. And if that's what we're voting on is the total amount. $10,884.
Will be corrected it will be corrected in the resolution.
So typically, the agreement is attached to the resolution,
Okay,
so it's one document then. So it's not just the resolution by itself, it's the resolution and the agreement put together and scanned
Okay.
as a file.
okay.
Incorporated in by reference in the, on page, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I think it's incorporated by reference on page 15 and 44 in fact, it's page 2 of the resolution. So I agree 100% with our learning assistant manager, but it's incorporated.
It's on page 15. It says, no, it's expected to be less than $40,000.
Yeah, and that's the statutory limits, but it is on page 19 of 44 under paragraph 3 or paragraph C, which is the
Yeah.
third letter. And then that's incorporated in by the resolution.
Does anyone have any concerns about the amount being in the resolution?
No, it's right here, page 19.
Sure. Okay. Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hope,
Aye.
Ms. Palastrellini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Fodor,
Aye.
Ms. Jernerbro. Aye. And Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. With that, we would ask for consideration of an ordinance authorizing and providing for a closed-end line of credit and the amount of $5 million for the purpose of providing interim financing of the costs associated with the construction of the new public works facility. I think you're all familiar with this. We will be issuing bonds this fall, but this will basically be a construction loan until we are able to issue the bonds and then pay off this construction loan. You have an agenda supplement from Ms. Lyons, which explains the 3 quotes that we received, and the low quote being with Resource Bank.
Does anyone have any questions?
How long does it, Ms. Lyons, how long does it take to apply for, present to the board and approve bonds and receive bond funding?
We're expecting about 8 to 12 weeks.
From the initiation of it, or has it already been initiated?
Well, we've started some preliminary stuff, but I wouldn't really count what we've done so far.
Okay.
I'd expect will be October, November before the bonds are issued.
Is there any risk of going past this 6 months?
I mean, I don't foresee any, major obstacles. I believe that the bank, who has been very generous to us, would extend the maturity date if necessary, and we would just have to use cash reserves at that time to.
So on a closed-end loan, we can't have the maturity date extended?
I said I believe that they would.
I didn't say that they will. I was just saying you could do that. I don't know because usually a closed end means on this date you pay whatever you owe.
We can just go back to them and say, we'd like to extend it another 3 months, and I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, and I'm not saying they wouldn't work with us as good partners. I didn't know if that type of loan allows for an extension. That's why I'm asking.
We'll also ensure that there's a force majeure clause. So in the event that there is an issue that is what we would refer to as an act of God, we get a day 4-day extension on the repayments.
If I could just clarify, because I've never done a bond project myself. So last meeting, we went ahead and we declared our intent to reimburse expenditures from the proceeds of bonds. So that was step 1 then. Step 2 then is the request to borrow the 5 million for the resources bank for payments ahead of time that we need to do. And then next is the bond. That's the next process. Okay.
These are all preliminary steps.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I just wanted to kind of see it as we were going down. So thank you.
Right, and it's a line of credit, not a loan, so we're only charged interest on what we actually take out.
Correct. Right. We will do it in draws.
Right.
Any other questions? I will entertain a motion authorizing and providing for a closed end line of credit.
So moved.
Second. Questions, comments? Clerk, can you take the roll, please?
Ms. Palastrellini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Fodor,
Aye.
Ms. Jernerbro,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Hope.
Aye.
Next, we have staff reports. We have the police report and the streets report. Being that the police report is up first, Chief, do you have anything you'd like to add or color you'd like to provide?
I do.
Pull up here. If you have any questions about the basic information presented to you, I'd be happy to entertain those now.
While he's searching for it, I just want to say, woohoo, no car thefts. It's my comment. Yep.
Yeah, so it's, I think overall, things are looking pretty good as far as the crime numbers. We still do have our connection down for our crime reporting to the state, which should be up and running in the next month or so. It's just that's been the process with the county. You can see our calls for service for both just the month of April plus the year-to-date calls for service. And both were down this year, which is good news. And then moving towards the end of the report, you can see the crashes. And then some of the current projects that we're working on. It's been a little while. With the emergency operations plan update, that'll be coming probably in the next, it's going to be a while yet, probably, I would say in the spring, early, like maybe January, February of next year, just because we're waiting for some new administrative rules to come out from the state as far as what's required for that report. So instead of doing the work twice, we're just waiting for the new mandates to come out as far as what they need. And then the way the new process works, just real overview is just each county is required to maintain an overall emergency operations plan for the entire county, which includes the individual emergency operations plans of each municipality in that county. So we have to, when we do our update, then we'll have to submit that and they'll have to meet the standards for the county to accept it. And then their emergency operations plan will need to be approved by the state, which includes all of the communities also. So it's a much bigger project than just us, but in order to get that done correctly, I think it's good to just wait for the new admin role, and that's what the OEM is actually encouraging that right now, just to hold on. I leave accreditation, again, statewide accreditation, kind of now working on that. It's an ongoing process that we're learning along the way. He just went to a conference, and so hopefully that'll be forward pretty quickly. We do have two new officers that are in training right now, Joe Tidell and Jake Peters. And then Rob Russell, the former coroner, has also joined us. It was kind of a low key. We're concerned because he had been out of law enforcement for quite some time, specifically or direct to law enforcement. So I swore him in the office just to get the approval process going. And then honestly, I mean, we could still do something in here, but it just kind of fell by the wayside. So I apologize for that, but he is out there. He's happy to be here and he's actually taken quite a few hours for us. But we'll be in really good shape now. With the school year ending, we're going to have the SROs back on the street for the summer. And then by the end of the summer, Tidell and Peters will be on their own. We do have a testing process coming up. If you know anybody that's interested, I just got that approved to start that process, and we'll get that going. Probably be testing sometime. We have cop on the rooftop on Friday, 5 a.m. to noon, down at the Dunkin' Donuts. So please stop by and it's tomorrow. Yep.
Are you going to be on the roof?
I'm not this year because I'm going out of town, but I will be there for coffee on the way to.
Weren't you up top for the last cop on time?
No. I was up there all day. Yeah. So anyways, I'll be stopping by in the morning. And then I did want to take just a few minutes to show you something we've been working on.
Pretty good incident.
I was there last year, the year before I was not. So, get my speech.
He was only interim.
That's true. Yeah, that's always done. It's involved.
Honestly, I don't remember why. Let's do this.
So we're going to get Counselor Vaselli on the roof?
I was on the roof last year.
Yep.
You were.
I was too.
Do we have insurance for this?
Probably not.
Is it illegal to launch water balloons?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's reflect that?
So, we have been working on for the past year,
we've been working on developing, this frontline, software solution. You approved it in the budget a couple years ago. There's several different components to it, and we have, and which I'll show you actually. Just start on that. That was gonna start on the front end there. I'll show you the back end first. So this is the back end of the frontline, software suite. And what we're using this for right now is for, a number of different things. We have this, this Community Policing Connect, which is something that that's been the longest to develop, but we've got that ready to go now. It contains, overnight parking information, and now this is for the officers to see. So if I go into that, you can see, this is what the officers and the supervisors will see. This is how I'm managing the overnight, any overnight parking, vacation watches, directed control, pet management. So we keep track of, identified pets that, especially the frequent flyers that we have problems with in town. So it has, all the information about that. And then we also have a key holder list for every business that we know of in the community, is now, we have key holder information readily accessible. I won't keep it displayed for long, there are some private phone numbers there, I'm sure, but we have every business in town that shows up on this. So when the officers are on a call, they need to get a hold of somebody, they can do that. And that's connected to the Kane County Dispatch Center. So they also, it's a live list that can be updated back and forth. So they also have access to that information. And then we have, I'm not going to go into the at-risk because it'll pop up on the backside a bunch of confidential information, but the at-risk residents is just somebody that has a known medical issue, a known mental health issue, or really just anything that we felt, that the officers need to know about if they go to that place. Now there's alerts in the dispatch center for anyone that is a risk to the officers, but this is a way, if we have, say we have a missing person report for somebody that has a mental health issue or decline, we can go into there, we can see all their information, if we've had any contact with them in the past. So we're keeping that all in here. And then, so that's the Connect. And then, there's a pro standards tracker. So if I go into this now, I can see, anytime an officer uses force, is involved in a foot pursuit, is involved in a vehicle pursuit. You can see compliments, complaints, awards. It all comes to here, so I can see what's pending, what's been entered into the system. And then there's another dashboard that, again, I'm not going to display just due to the confidentiality of it, but actually, if I come down here, you can see there's, employee incident breakdown rolling for 12 months, and then I can see, what's been going on for the whole department on this screen, as far as the different types of data points that we're collecting. And then with the officers, I can go into each individual officer and take a look at what's going on with them at this particular point. And then the last piece of it is our training tracker. And with the training tracker, you're aware that with the Safety Act, we had several mandates. Oh, that's got confidential stuff. There's several mandates that we're tracking, that we're responsible to make sure, of course, that the officers have, satisfied these mandates throughout a 3-year period. And now Lieutenant Neblock has taken all of our training records for our current officers, and then going back about to the time that I started anyways, all the training records for all the officers are in here and tracked and on timers, so we can keep on top of our training and make sure that we have a good record of what everybody has. Right at our fingertips instead of having, file cabinets full of information. So now let me show you, going back to this Community Connect piece. Again, just to put it up there, this is the back end of it. Now, what we've done is on the department's website, there's this frontline public safety solutions public portal. And what the community can do is they can go in, they can click on this link here, but I've already done that. And they can enter their own request. So anyone in the community can now go in and enter an overnight parking request, a vacation watch request. They can enter their bicycle information, for, serial number and make and model and stuff, so we can track that if it was to be stolen. Again, pet management. So when we're going on calls and finding strays running, we're entering their information into the pet management, but a homeowner can also do that. If they go into this, they can enter their pet into that, and then we have that information readily available if we were to come across that animal. And we do have a scanner that we bought last year, and we've had a scanner for a while, but we get an updated scanner that works really well. And so when we get them back to the station, rather than calling animal control and incurring a, $75 plus fee every single time we come across an animal, we can just bring them back to the station. We hang on to them until we find, and almost every single time we find the owner within just a few minutes, because the officers all know they'll put a Facebook post out, and people just anything involving animals, they just love it.
Do the repeat offenders get fined at all?
Yeah, we will cite them. Yep. And then they go through the process. And then again, the at-risk residents, someone can go in and, and if they have a loved one that they're concerned about, or themselves that they just want to let us know that they have some medical concerns, then they can put that information in on their own. And then one last thing I'll show you with this for now is, if I can get to it because of this. Wait, just have to go back here. I don't know how to get that out of the way.
Hit the red X and all goes away.
I know.
Then
Power cord.
Oh, do you know how to make that go away?
what are you trying to get to go?
The box?
What back?
What box?
We'll see back.
Oh, well, I can. It won't let me look at what I want to get my message.
Take your glasses off.
Go on the page, Steve, and I'll show you the complaint and compromise.
I'll just do that. Yeah, that's a better way. I thought it would be more seamless. So here at the bottom of this page, there's also submit a compliment or complaint. We have had that on the website for a while. However, now it feeds straight into to our frontline system with our professional standards module. So you can go in and enter a compliment or a complaint about an officer right on the website. So pretty exciting.
How long have you had a website?
Well, it's on the village.
It's on the village's website.
Oh.
Yep.
I didn't know you had them.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Now, I know from personal knowledge, my own father used, when he lived in Hampshire, he used the fire departments. He was an at-risk resident for health reasons. They had a lockbox on the door in the fire department. Do you guys partner with the fire department with all this stuff too? So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not direct partners with that, but we know about that, and
Okay.
we don't have a lockbox key. We're still going to call the fire department.
Okay.
It's just, you don't want too many people in the community, regard if they're policemen or firemen, to have those keys
Right.
to get into those lockboxes. But we do
Right.
talk about that program
Okay.
and let people know.
No, I figured
Yeah.
like that would be just smart to work together on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. There's been some real problems nationwide with those Knox boxes. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good idea as long as you can trust everybody.
Yeah.
So, so any questions about that? About frontline or?
Good work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. One more thing I'm just gonna talk about super quick is this class. It's an active shooter incident management class. There's an upcoming course in, where is this at? It's nearby. I can't remember. It's nearby. It's seriously, it's a very close by, but anyways, this is the class put on by the Illinois Fire Service Institute. And I think this particular class is coming up in July. Actually, the new fire chief sent this to me because we were talking about this. I went to this class about 6 weeks ago. It's the best overall incident management class that I've ever been to. It's a full scenario based class, and anyone can go, and they actually recommend, I should say anyone in local government can go. And I would recommend that if you have the time or the opportunity, as leaders in the community, you can go to this class for free. It's about a $2,500 tuition if you're not part of government. But you can, as a member of government, you can go to this class and you can immerse yourself in about 3 days of scenarios that includes probably only about 80 8 hours of instruction, like classroom instruction, maybe not even that much. And all the rest of it is scenario-based training where you're actually fully immersed in a full sim where there's, everybody gets a different role, and it's phenomenal. This one is specifically directed at active shooter incident management, but overall incident management, like if we were to have a tornado come through town, right, or some other disaster happen, this will puts you in the scenario in how the whole process would work. And really, one of the things that I want to work with the new fire chief on is getting everybody in the village trained on incident management, so you would understand and know what it looks like when this works. So especially village anybody involved on this side, including public works and the water department, everybody would be involved if something like that were to happen. And this is just a good way to see how it really works. So I would just say, and if I see a regular disaster incident management course come up, I'll let you know about that too. But this is completely free, federally funded training. That anyone.
Chief, can you email that to all of
Yeah,
us?
that's what I was gonna say. Can you get it to Jake so that you can send it to us?
Yep. Yeah. And we can talk about it more, but everyone here should be ICS certified, which is the incident management nationwide. And so just so we all understand our roles when something like this happens. And I think the new fire chief he's also very on board with making sure that everybody understands their roles and is trained in it. And so we've already talked about putting together an upcoming tabletop exercise where you could all come and participate and see how it all works.
Mr. Ed, just make sure you have that on your calendar. It'll be after August, I'm sure. Yeah.
Any questions?
No, this is great. Thank you, Chief.
When you're talking about this, becoming emergency management, informed, I guess we could say, is it always going to be the active shooter
No.
training? Okay.
No, it's this particular one is just it's just really good class because they have a full, it's probably millions of dollars worth of equipment that they pull out of a box truck and they set it all up and so you see all the different stations, like a command post and a press briefing area and the dispatch center or regional command area. They set it all up and they actually several times during the course they put people in different positions.
Mhm.
So you see how it all works together. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
And they also blend the class, so they make sure that, I can guarantee that anybody that's part of just general government in the village wants to go, they'll get you in the class because most people don't. It's all police and fire, but there were some village administrators and also school district personnel at the one that I went to a few weeks ago in Hawthorne Woods. So. Okay. Oh, stop sharing.
Chief, before we move from the chief, I just have one question about the crash data.
Yeah.
And it looks like 3 of the crashes were right there at the intersection of 20 and Big Timber. Although it doesn't have a line that goes across it. Are those accidents? Is that involving kids trying to get to the high school or parents trying to get to the elementary school? Or is it just general? Because if we need to do more safety there, because that's 3.
I'll take a look at it. I do have live on the website that I pulled this data from. I can see
Okay.
more detail of who was involved and what the causations were. So I'll take a look at that
And there's 2 right by the high school too, but the other schools seem to be okay, but you just want to, then that's a weird light too, and it kind of comes up and over, so we need to look at safety. Just a curiosity.
Does anyone have any questions about the streets? Okay, they're still there. Next, accounts payable to personnel in the amount of $909.11. Anyone have any questions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable to personnel in the amount of $909.11. Questions, comments? Mr. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Aye. Fodor.
Aye.
Jernerbro.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
All right.
Mr. Polk.
Aye.
Ms. Palastrellini.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have the small amount of $595,228.31. That's the regular accounts payable to be paid on May 15, 2025. Any questions? Hearing none? Entertain a motion to approve. Accounts payable?
So moved.
Seconded.
Nope.
Questions or comments?
Not with it.
Hearing none? Can you call the roll?
Ms. Fodor?
Aye.
Mrs. Charbonneau?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Coe?
Aye.
Ms. Palastrellini? Aye. Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right. Well, let's see, what's next on the agenda here? So we've got, Business Development Commission.
BDC met last night. Had a really good discussion around the importance and need of a comprehensive plan. And the action coming out of that is that the chair is going to reach out to the planning and zoning chair and the village president to try to set up a meeting with the three of them to talk about how can we, the three commissions and the village work together, and two commissions in the village work together to get a comprehensive plan on next year's budget for consideration. There were discussions that were also talked about as part of that comprehensive plan on potentially asking to have ordinances relooked at when it comes to annexation of, rather than it going to a residential and then having to rezone immediately after, can you annex as a property in its current zoning without changing anything, so that, let's say you have farmland or something that you want annexed in, but no, it's not a development, the farmer's not going to change it, there's nothing around it, it's just in the future, should the farmer ever want to sell their land, it's a part of the village, and there could be influences in the development of it. I'll explain why we had that discussion. It was talked about, could we look into just allowing the farmer to annex without changing anything of the zoning or any of the rules, like not having to connect to city water and sewer and things like that. So I'm sure that'll go, I see our village attorney telling me no, but I'm sure that'll go and be asked for investigation into that.
I can investigate it. No. You can't do it. You, by state statute, you always annex into the lowest residential district municipality. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right, but that just means there'll be 2 votes every time. Put it back exactly the way it was.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can do that. You could, I don't want to elongate this, but no, you have to annex in there and then you can zone it into the zoning process. I'm sure Mr.
So what got us really talking about that as well, not only was it opens a lot of opportunities of potential economic development and programs. We talked about in the Kane County, part of it was driven off when we talked about the Kane County Economic Development Plan. Some of the comments in there were about farmland and crop diversification and the need for that. And we said, well, if we could annex some farms in, could we create a program similar to the facade program where we set money aside for grants to farmers to do crop diversification and have those crops donated to local food banks or people in need in the community or things like that. So lots of good discussion around that. The reason why we had that talk, and I hope I'm not stealing any thunder of what was going to be discussed later. Kane County, it was brought to the BDC's attention. Kane County basically looked at the village's stern disapproval of the solar farm and said, thanks, but no thanks. And they approved the solar farm on Big Timber and 47. Or not Big Timber.
What a great day that
Is it Big Timber?
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Timber and 47. Because that wasn't because it wasn't in village property and our comprehensive plan is over 20 years old, it's hard. I don't want to make, I wasn't there, but it sounds like the feedback hinted towards, well, you haven't thought about that property in a long time.
To be fair, I think that was one of many things, but I don't think it really mattered because I think they were going to pass it anyway.
Yeah, so they passed.
Doesn't matter how many meetings.
Whoever's watching this someday in the future, you will see a bunch of solar panels on Big Timber and 47 filling that entire farm property. So that was approved by the county, but that spurred a lot of this conversation from the BDC to say, there was also a comment in the county's economic development that said Kane County is really bad at government segmentation. I'm using the wrong word, but it was fragmentation. And that there are too many different governing bodies that have their own things, and that basically it should be the county and private enterprises that are helping to drive what the economic development plan is for the area.
Or the other way around, they could get out of our way.
That would be nice. Yeah. That's not how it's worded in their development. But that's why we also started talking about the need to really look at a comprehensive plan and how do we start to do that so that we have some teeth behind the fact that we've set something to say, here's what is the village, other organizations feel is best for the growth of our community so that we don't end up in a situation where the county's like, well, you don't have a plan, so. Or no.
Just so you know why we don't, they're not inexpensive.
No, they're very expensive.
$150,000.
And that's one of the things we talked
It was in the
about.
budget just to make fun.
Yeah, and those are some of the things we talked about, but the other two things we talked about, facade program, the beauty salon / barber shop is nearing completion. They were hoping for a June 1st opening. Unfortunately, they're not going to hit June 1st, but it'll be shortly thereafter. I don't want to say shortly. It'll be sometime thereafter, but it sounds like it's making good progress. And then the finial project is going to go forward. Mr. Swalwell's personally driving stuff out to Indiana where they're going to be made. And so that project will kick off. There are only 2 people that have submitted interest, not applications, but talked about interest for facade program so far for this fiscal year. One sounds like we'll get an application for, which would be the doctor's office and the Vintage Hammer combined as one. Maybe it's 2 applications because they're 2 buildings, but it's the same owner that has both. And then potentially the window project in the cave, but they didn't indicate if they were going to submit another one. They just are aware that we've gotten the new funding and it's available. So, any questions?
Yes, I don't recall. Didn't we have something, didn't we talk about it at the last few meetings? That someone that applied for a facade grant can only apply so many times before they have to get out of the buffet line and let the rest of the businesses have a shot at it?
Yeah, so we talked about should somebody be awarded more than a certain number of times, but there's nothing in the current program that limits it. But that was the consideration of the board where they said, hey, we've awarded somebody already, let's say 2 times. Do we want to award a 3rd one? That's up to the purview of the board. The board can say no to that. We did discuss that, but it's not in the policy. There isn't anything about how many times you've applied. But we did talk about, I think it was about awarded, like how many times do you want to award one person or one building a facade improvement? So, because we have 2 properties that have gotten 2 awards.
At least 2 now.
Yeah, and no one's gotten more than 2 yet. I don't know of anybody applying for a 3rd.
I think maybe Hampshire Social Sign might have been that 3rd.
It's not a question, but it's a question or a request then for staff meeting, Mo. I'd really like to be able to see what the other municipalities around us and in Metro West do with facades as to, in the surrounding communities right here, in Metro West, just to see any limits that they put on it and the percentages that they offer.
We
So
can do that. We can do so.
I'd appreciate it just to see what the other ones are doing. So if they have a maximum amount and a percentage amount, and then add to it then if there is a maximum number that you can request. I think that could help the board as well as the beautification committee.
The last thing, we do have an applicant for an open position. The chairman is really excited about the applicant and we'll be connecting with President Reed on the next steps
He already has. The applicant will be on the next agenda
for appointment.
for appointment.
And then I think we're full currently. Currently,
Yes, currently.
we are currently full. Once that appointment happens.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Any questions for Mr. Kelly? New business or other announcements?
I have an announcement. Do we have to do new business first?
We'll make the rules here.
As I don't know if everyone knows, but as many of us know, we honored Mrs. Bannerman at our last meeting as Hampshire's Educator of the Year. She did in fact win Kane County Elementary Educator of the Year. So I wanted all the people watching to know, so. I would like to think that the final push was from the village. I know that is not true, is because she's a phenomenal teacher and person. So congratulations to Michelle Vanderman on being named the Kane County Elementary Educator of the Year for 2025.
And thank you for bringing it up.
Yes.
Yay.
Tomorrow is Trevor Herman's last day as fire chief. His walkout ceremony will be at 4 p.m. at the Fire Protection District. We all got invitations. Maybe you didn't, you weren't here, but you're invited. He would love to see you. And so with that, they asked me to say a few words. And so as long as you guys don't like tell him, but tomorrow we see, because he came here and then he left.
Yeah.
He's practiced and then he left.
Yeah.
His practice walkout.
He's got it down.
I have a proclamation for tomorrow that we're going to be posting on social. First thing,
Excellent.
proclaiming tomorrow Trevor Herman Day in the village of Hampshire. So we're going to post it on social and we'll present it to him tomorrow. But it's kind of like a surprise. So don't go like posting it on social.
Don't call it him.
We're gonna watch the meeting.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not watching it.
Does,
Oh, you got it posted.
anyone else have anything to add? Trustee Jarner, bro? I mean, you have anything you'd like to add for your first meeting? You survived it.
You did. We made it. No, I don't have anything yet.
You want to come back in 2 weeks?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Sorry.
She wants extra practice.
Just two things. One, going along the announcements, a week from Monday is Memorial Day. There will be a ceremony at Siler Park at 11, I believe.
Yep.
And so they do a fantastic job, remembering and honoring those that served and are no longer with us. And so I encourage everyone to come up if you can to Siler Park. It's at the memorial there. The district does a great job maintaining it and they've, that's where the ceremony,
11 o'clock. And they have a fantastic keynote speaker,
whoever that may be.
Mr. Aaron
Um,
Kelly.
and
He's
then,
speaking at 11 a.m.
yeah. The other thing is just a question. We have a lot of celebrations happening, but I do have a question for staff.
Uh-oh.
Can we have somebody take a look at those crosswalks to start either repairing or just shave off the rest of the
He'll be
brick
out
look?
here either tomorrow or Monday. I can't remember.
They are, okay,
Yeah.
great. I just figured now that the weather's nicer, if,
That was a really nice picture of the Tribune today where they had the drone up and they saw like the pavement missing. That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
We were trying to figure out where that damn drone came from. We were sitting there staring at it for almost an hour in here and it turned out to be the Tribune.
Yeah.
Guy was shot.
That lady interviewed me on the phone for 40 minutes.
I could almost reach it.
I was on the phone for 40 minutes and they put one line in there for me. But I've reached the top of the
Not a lot
mountain.
of promotion for our business.
Yeah, they don't care. I also, Mr. Hedges, do you have that envelope there?
I do.
Can somebody bring that to me?
I don't really want to pass that around, Mike.
I already did. And
we've already all seen
and
it.
I have already seen it. And so what I would like to do is take a few minutes and thank the member of the public that sent this to me. I would just like to take this member because we have fought now at this board, not fought, worked hard together with staff to come up with a comprehensive capital improvement plan and try to take care of public works and try to stop wasting taxpayer dollars and move public works equipment inside and give our employees a safe place to work. And we've been down this road since 2019. This was the first meeting that Mr. Hedges came to. And I got one of my first hate letters today, which has been nice. So it's all scribbled with marker and telling us that we're taking the taxpayers and putting it in their hindquarters, among other things. I'm using nicer language. So whoever sent this to me, it is anonymous, but it says, thanks, Mayor Mike. So I would like to thank them. Anyway, that's it. And I will be posting it on social media myself later to make sure that they are well aware that how appreciative I am and that how all we're trying to do is support our taxpayers and support our residents and support our employees that so badly need this. And if you're interested in touring the facility that we have currently, I'm willing to show you why we needed this. That's all I got. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
It's right on, except for your half hour.